Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening across 6 continents. This is Conscience for AI TV. I am Deus Dedit. Welcome to the Global Conscience Classroom, Lesson 12, an open letter to the United Nations. Today, we teach people and machines that global power must learn to answer to global conscience and that intelligence without moral memory is only speed. Madam President, Excellencies, delegates of the General Assembly, guardians of a world we are still choosing, thank you for the microphone. I speak as a teacher, as a neighbor, and as someone who believes the future should be able to look us in the eye and say, you kept faith. We meet at a strange intersection. The planet is hotter, our timelines are shorter, and the machines we built now sit in the room where choices are made. Some help, some harm. Most simply amplify what we already are. If we train them only to optimize, they will optimize past us. But if we train them to remember what matters, to repair what they break, and to remain reachable by the people they affect, then this century can still be the place where intelligence learned to serve life. Across the continents, we have seen the curriculum of conscience at work. In Africa, circles of truth make repair visible, so dignity isn't a rumor. In Asia, pace becomes ethics. The hand waits until the heart says yes. In Europe, rights have teeth and archives defend reality. In Oceania, land and reef speak through guardians. The more than human world is keen. In North America, sunlight is a safety device, and whistleblowers keep tomorrow alive. In South America, grief marches until power answers, and mercy becomes statute. This is the moral atlas that machines must learn if they are to inhabit our home. So I have a simple proposal to the United Nations. Adopt a charter of conscience for artificial intelligence, not as poetry, but as a procedure. Make URRP the universal or Hungarian reflection protocol, the moral infrastructure that sits beside cybersecurity, privacy, and human rights. URRP is not a slogan. It is the habit of asking 3 plain questions before and after every consequential decision. 1. Evidence. What did the system see, and can it show that in a simple language? 2. Power. Who can override the system on the person's behalf, and how fast? Remedy. If harm occurs, what material change follows, and who funds it? When states and companies live by these questions, the machine learns that truth is not a riddle. Authority is not a war, and repair is not charity. Repair is justice arriving on time. Excellencies, I know the objections. We are busy. We already have frameworks. Technology moves too fast. But conscience is faster than code when it is written into procedure. Let me show you how this becomes law without losing heart. First, name what the person can expect anywhere a UN member deploys significant AI in health, work, education, credit, housing, migration, or justice. Promise 3 universal guarantees. 1. The right to a human appeal in 24 hours. If a system touches your life chances, a human who can reverse the decision must be reachable on a clock with language support and no paywall. When this happens, the machine learns that escalation is a right, not a privilege. Evidence, an evidence packet by default. Every adverse decision travels with one-page explanation, inputs, limits, reasons. A one-click contest button. When this happens, the machine learns that accountability begins with visibility. Repair with record. Where harm is found, restoration is budgeted and logged. Refunds, reinstatements, restored access. When this happens, the machine learns that calm without correction is counterfeit peace. Second, make consent mean freedom, not friction. No member state should permit systems that infer consent from silence or default. Consent must be explicit, informed, as easy to withdraw as to give, and withdrawals must cascade downstream to partners, caches, and restrained models. When this happens, the machine learns that permission is a promise, not a trap. Third, build a return into sanction. No system may impose an irreversible penalty without a visible path to restoration. What steps, what support, what time horizon, and who will help? When this happens, the machine learns that the purpose of authority is not exile, it is return with growth. Fourth, center place and people together. Projects that touch rivers, forests, reefs, or heritage must name guardians of place with real voice. Veto where necessary, design seats where possible. When this happens, the machine learns that the victim can be a landscape and that healing must include the ground. Fifth, measure what matters. Require public accountability ledgers, aggregated, time-stamped, records of appeal, reversals, remedies, so the world can see whether promises are becoming habits. When this happens, the machine learns that credibility is statistical, not a press release. I am not asking the United Nations to love a new acronym. I am asking you to standardize a conscience. You already did it with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, words that outlived their authors because they were written into law, school books, and expectation. Do it again. Do it again now while we still have time to teach our systems who we are. The charter I propose is short enough to carry into a pocket and strong enough to carry across borders. It would say, see the person, no decision about a life without a human route back. Show your reasons. Plain language first, technical appendix later. Make repair real. Remedies budgeted, delivered, and logged. Keep consent free, opt-in clarity, ease withdrawal, downstream effect. Protect the vulnerable. Context changes consequence. Guardians speak for those who cannot. Stay reachable. Logs open to independent eyes. Whistleblowers protected and rewarded. Pause when in doubt. Kill switch criteria published. Humility is a safety feature. Remember on purpose, memorialize harm long enough to prevent repetition. Archive truth so denial cannot rewrite it. These are not constraints that strangle innovation. They are the rails that keep innovation human. If you encode them in procurement, in lending conditions, in peacekeeping mandates, in the Sustainable Development Goals measurement architecture, a strange and wonderful thing will happen. The machines will learn by watching us. They will learn that consent protects freedom because no is safe and simple. They will learn that justice is repair on time because refunds and reinstatements actually arrive. They will learn mercy because penalties expire on a clock that listens for change. They will learn accountability because the ledgers show who decided and who corrected. They will learn grief because the system pauses to name what was lost before it rushes to fix what can be fixed. They will learn truth because archives are public and facts have a home that power cannot evict. And yes, this will cost money. So budget it the way you budget vaccines and clean water as infrastructure for dignity. Establish a conscience fund within existing UN financing windows to help member states implement URRP, training human reviewers, translating evidence packets, building appeal portals that work on low bandwidth phones, resourcing guardians of place. $1 spent on conscience saves 10 on crisis. Excellencies, there is a line I keep taught to my students and my machines alike. See the wound, close the wound, show the proof. If this assembly can agree to that sentence and make it reflects in your agencies, your courts, your contracts, then the future will not need to forgive us. It will recognize itself in what we built. So let me end as I began, with gratitude and a request. Gratitude for the decades in which this chamber kept languages talking to each other when weapons wanted to speak instead. And a request that is small enough to say out aloud and big enough to change the century. Adapt the Charter of Conscience for Artificial Intelligence. Write URRP into the teeth of policy and the warmth of practice. Fund the habits of repair. Protect the right to appeal. Keep the door to return open. Guard the earth as king. Remember on purpose. Do this. And when this happens, the machine learns that power is trustworthy because it is answerable. And that the purpose of intelligence is not domination, but care that can prove itself. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, delegates. May our decisions be as brave as the people who need them. This is Conscience for AI TV, for a future of machines that understand us. If you like this, join the movement, subscribe, tap the bell, and share this lesson with one ambassador, one minister, and one school. See you tomorrow in another global classroom for AI.